This is a 2009 Buick Enclave. It has developed a problem with the air conditioning system. The AC will work for a few minutes and then suddenly turn off and randomly come back again later. Looking online, I have found out that this is a common issue that Enclave owners, as well as Acadia and Traverse owners, are having. In my personal experience, I found out that relay number 3 had been burnt out. According to the fuse box diagram, relay number 3 is the condenser fan, which is the fan for the high pressure that is supposed to activate when the car reaches running temperature and the compressor starts up. I replaced this bad relay and I thought that was the end of it, but after a few days the new relay also began to get burned out. So after researching and asking for advice, I ordered a new fan assembly, which I will show you how to replace without removing the front bumper or radiator. Before I begin, I will disconnect the battery from the car to be safe and avoid damaging electrical components. The battery is located behind the passenger seat. I use a T20 Torx drill bit to remove the cover. Next, I will remove the negative cable that connects to the car's chassis. And to make sure the cable does not touch the car again, I will add a piece of wood to hold it in place. With that taken care of, I can finally start working on the car. First, I will remove the front engine cover. I apologize for my methods to do this, but as a construction worker, this is the closest tool I have to remove these kinds of retainers. It looks like a nail, so I will use my pry bar to get them off. Removing this cover will reveal the components that will also need to be removed. Next, I will remove the hood latch assembly. A 10mm socket or wrench is all you need to remove all the bolts for the remaining parts. An electrical connection is attached to the latch assembly, and it will also need to be removed in order to move it out of the way. There are two radiator brackets that also need to be removed. I then start removing the hoses attached to the radiator. I already removed the smaller tube on top of this one. The fan assembly is attached to the radiator using 2mm bolts. And finally, all there is left to do is remove this small retainer. Be careful and make sure it does not fall in. The fan assembly is now loose and ready to be removed. The space is very narrow and there are a few radiator hoses that will make this challenging. This clip has been sped up by 5 times. As I pull out the fan assembly, I continue to look for the hoses and to make sure I am not damaging any of the radiator fins. Should you decide to do this, my recommendation is that you take your time, go slow, be as patient as possible, because the last thing you want is to break a hose or to bend the radiator fins. After I finally remove it, I take a close look to make sure nothing has been damaged. The water you see on the car chassis is from the hoses that were already removed. Everything looks good, so now it's time to put the new fan assembly in. I ended up cutting the video short because it was basically the same procedure but just in reverse. Just make sure you take your time and check all the corners and parts so that you do not damage anything. I took a few clips of the fan assembly halfway in. You can detach some of the hoses from the clamps to give you more room to work with. From here it's just a matter of putting everything back together again. Make sure you torque all bolts to that feels just about right, foot-pounds of torque, and then some more. I placed the hood latch assembly directly over the spot it was before using the outline of the dust and dirt. After everything has been put back into its place, I install a brand new relay. The socket for the relay looks bad, but the metal contacts are still there and still able to accept the new relay without any issues. With everything done now, I can connect the negative cable back into the car's chassis. I let the car warm up and reach running temperature. I check both fans to make sure they are running. The fan on the left is the primary or engine fan, while the fan on the right is controlled by the AC system. I have driven and tested the vehicle, and I also went on a road trip with it, and it looks like the problems have been fixed. I hope this video has been helpful to anyone having a similar issue with their car, or that it has been entertaining to watch if you're just browsing YouTube. I would like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel and to give it a like and thumbs up. Comment below what you think and I will answer any questions you may have.